everyone. Welcome to the Above the Yellow Line live stream on a Thursday night. I am Taylor Kitchen, host of Above the Yellow Line, joined by my friends Ben Branscombe and Adam Lucas. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello. Good evening.
Hello. My goodness, yeah, there's a lot to talk about. Well, a lot and not a lot to talk about today, I feel like. It's a mixed bag. I feel like there's few topics, but we could spend hours talking about them, recapping Talladega, previewing the chaos that's probably going to ensue at the ROVAL for the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series being cutoff races. We have some pretty big news to catch up on as well for this show. So we'll literally just dive right into it. Let's just go right into it. Obviously, by the thumbnail, you see Ricky Stenhouse Jr. sitting on top of the fence at Talladega because he won the race. We shouldn't be surprised. He's really good at these types of tracks, but yet again, it's another non-playoff driver spoiling the championship contenders' days. In the round of 12, Ross Chastain was first, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is second. Will we have a third? I think there's a good possibility, but we'll get to that later. So let's look at our point standings. I am sad because I've lost ground and Adam is doing so well. Ben, I think he maintained.
I am doing well. Yeah, Ben got the
win.
Yeah.
I'm nothing but consistent in this world. That's all that matters.
You know, consistency is good. I crave consistency in my life, so this is good for you, Ben.
Mediocre.
Just you know what? You got it. I think you're very close to me in points in a sense. Like if I have these next two races that I just shit the bed. Excuse my language, but you know, if I do, Ben, you've got second place. So
it's gonna be one of those shows tonight.
It's gonna be one of those shows.
Geez.
Heavy topics, lots of opinions. We have one of those shows running. But also good to see you all in the chat, by the way. John, Adam, and Ravaging Wolverine. Love to see you all making your way into the chat. But yes, those are our point standings. But let's look at the drivers' point standings right now. Oh man, Ben, do you want to talk about that?
No, I don't.
Oh, dang.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
I respect that. We'll leave the Phillies off the table for conversations.
Don't even say their name. They're not.
Okay.
They're not real.
I don't even know what we're talking
Baseball
about now.
club that plays in Philadelphia.
Nope. Don't. No. Don't.
Well, point standings for the drivers. William Byron on points alone has locked himself into the round of 8. Doesn't matter what happens next or this coming week at the ROVAL. He's good, which is probably the best case scenario, considering the ROVAL again will be probably a little chaotic. Christopher Bell right now, 57 above that cutoff line, looking good. Same with Kyle Larson, 52 above. Below that cutoff line, there's more of a gap in this round than there was in the round of 16. Joey Logano minus 13, Daniel Suarez minus 20, Austin Cindric minus 29, and Chase Briscoe minus 32. Based off of these point standings and how these drivers performed, Ben, do you have any thoughts about any of this after Talladega, during Talladega, etc.? I know the big one had a lot to do with what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I mean, 3 of the 4 out are 3 of the 4 I would expect to be out.
Yeah.
Logano's kind of one that is not who I would have down there. Because I would say he's been somewhat more relevant than Chase Elliott these playoffs, obviously with a win. That helps a lot in that regard. Definitely makes this. It's interesting because if you look at like the breakdown of the like not width, but like the distance between Chase Briscoe to, let's say, Chase Elliott. Okay, yeah, that's a really condensed points stack. Like it's not as like Chase Briscoe's not like 56 points out, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's not insurmountable at the end of the day. Now, Hail Mary, sure, but like that's not an insurmountable points gap to climb. So there's going to be a lot of jostling, I feel like, that happens this weekend at the ROVAL. Not only just because it's the ROVAL and it's chaos,
right?
But just because like this is a tighter gap overall that could get interesting. Also, yes, Shane, let's go Flyers. Save my mental health, please.
Adam, thoughts?
You know, I feel like if you're 4th and up, you're safe. I even feel Blaney and Bowman, just due to Bowman's consistency throughout the second half of the season, really.
Yeah.
I think being 26 to the good, I think he'll get in. Blaney, this playoff's been a crapshoot for him, honestly. So hopefully luck's on his side. If you're 7th on back, I think anybody can win, or not win, but get in. Obviously, if you're Suarez, Cindric, and Briscoe, you have to win to get in. But I think Logano has the most to gain through possible carnage, especially with turn 7.
Oh my God, yeah. We're gonna break down the track. Toby Christie from TobyChristie.com and Racing America posted a really good comparison of the track layout in previous years to this year. In turn 7, I'm excited, Adam. We're gonna sit there for the Xfinity Series race. We're gonna see all of that unfold right before our
Going to
eyes.
be wild.
So I will say with Joey Logano in these point standings, better than last year, right? Like,
Yeah.
so something to be proud of. But again, we have this even numbered streak for Joey Logano, and he's a 2-time champion. We would expect better than this at the moment. But I would say for, Cindric, I think if it wasn't for the big one at the end, and I don't know if he would have won it because those last lap dashes at Talladega can change things in an instant, but he was going to be sitting decently in points, or at least that gap above the cutoff line wouldn't have been as bad for him. Briscoe doesn't surprise me to be down there, though I would love a Cinderella story. And Daniel Suarez, again, I think Talladega was going to be his biggest hope, but he is great at road courses. So we do have, even though Dom is not here, our projected top 10 stats we're going to look at later to kind of talk about where these drivers kind of hold up going into the ROVAL. I do want to talk about this lightly. I know we talked about this last week because there was another scenario at Kansas with the DVP rule, but I want to talk about it here because we just saw a huge inconsistency with it this weekend and Elton Sawyer's comments. And essentially what Elton Sawyer said after the race, because he did address the media with all of this, was like, listen, there were 25 cars on the track. It was hard for us to determine, which ones were good, which ones weren't. There was also an issue where they raised the red flag way too early and the pace car didn't go. And there was just, which could have affected scoring for a lot of these drivers. But with the DVP rule, they allowed Chase Elliott and Chase Briscoe, namely, to go to pit road, make repairs to the cars. They made minimum speed, and there's that. For Elliott's car, though, they had guys on the hood of their car trying to get it back down. And I'm like, okay, so if that's not what's the line here? And I get we have rules in the rule book, and I know, but
Say that.
It's just interesting. So I think too with Elton Sawyer, he's like, we learned from previous races. We learned from Kansas with Josh Berry's car. We learned from Watkins Glen with Ryan Blaney, and we wanted to adjust. But my question to you guys is, do you feel the adjusting along the way is fair?
I have strong opinions though about the whole DVP rule though.
Go for it. Share them.
I miss seeing those old botched up stuck together cars from the old time. Just stick it up with as much duct tape and bare bond as you can. Doesn't matter how much time it takes. Doesn't matter if you meet minimums. Well, I mean, it still does if you meet minimum speed. But yeah, I don't like the rule in general. And now that we're playing with it, this could lead to either a demise of it, which I hope, or it's going to be very black and white where, oh, you wrecked your car. It's a red flag. Oh, well, sorry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I would love for it to play in my favor where the whole rule gets eliminated, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Ben, similar?
Kind of. Adam said this, and this was what I was thinking too, even before, was just like, this, no matter how you cut it, is not a strike and ball call. It's not like it's such an arbitrary rule depending upon what track you go to and what quantifies as you're too damaged to race. And a wrecked car at Bristol can probably run no matter how, because it's a lot slower pace at the end of the day compared to a Talladega where you're running almost 200 miles an hour all out. I've never been a fan of the DVP in many ways. I scratch that. I'm a fan of the DVP, the song from Pup the band. I'm not a fan of DVP, the damaged vehicle policy that NASCAR has in place. But I get it. I understand it. But again, it's one of these things that I don't love us changing rules midway through the season and just kind of I get this is kind of how stuff works, but it wasn't halfway through whatever season it was when the MLB was like, all right, we're putting in a pitch clock like that. It's not a thing. That shouldn't be a thing. I don't, unless there's a safety reason or a reason for the betterment of society. So, yeah, I don't love it. I don't enjoy it. And I feel like it's one of these things that NASCAR needs to go in the off season and go, we need to reevaluate this. So,
Clarification of rules.
Yeah, the clarification of rules is the big thing, and I do appreciate the transparency on NASCAR's end of like, hey, we decided to adjust, right? As opposed to just saying this was an easy call for us, plain and simple. It's okay, well, it wasn't plain and simple with Blaney, or like, there was, depending on the situation, the call was different. I had to rephrase what I was going to say because I was going to say something, but never mind. But yeah, I really do agree with you, Ben, in the fact that I don't like when rules change as we move along. I think it hurts the previous contenders that fell under the old rule or the, I guess, old way we interpreted the rule. And in the playoffs right now, changing the way we interpret a rule in the rule book is hurting playoff chances. It's hurting points. It's hurting whatever. So I agree. I also see a lot of you in the comments. Ravaging Wolverine said, I like when NASCAR corrects and makes the right decision. They shouldn't have made some of the mistakes they did, which is fair. Making changes during the playoffs is a problem, however. So I do agree with that 100%. So yeah, there are some issues there, but I guess on a positive, which I cannot believe I did not bring this up myself. So Cameron, thank you for bringing this up. But can we just talk about the 4-wide racing for a moment? Like, it looked like parade laps. That was actually, it was pretty impressive. I thought it was impressive.
Well, let me tell you what flashed through my head immediately when that started. The fall 2012 Talladega race, the final restart. The field looked identical to that. As they're entering turn 3, it got ugly.
Flashback.
As a matter of fact, it got so ugly it was put on the national news. It was so ugly, and it gave Dale Jr. essentially a concussion. So yeah,
that is true.
Not great. I thought it was beautiful. That was intense. My sphincter was as tight as can be. It was just wow.
That insinuates it's loose, kids.
Oh my God. We really started off the show on a note, and we've discontinued that note.
We haven't had a show go off the rails in weeks.
We haven't. It has that vibe
because I've been gone.
Ben's been gone. Ben, we missed you so much.
Did you though? Let's be honest.
Oh my God, yes. There's such a void when you're not on the shows. It's a notable absence, in my opinion. Might be a little biased, but I think so. Yeah, Talladega was cool. There was some frustrations with the rules. I get it, but
Talladega was fun. I still think it was fun.
I think it was a typical Talladega weekend overall.
Yeah.
I also like. I forgot the truck series was running this weekend at all. Like, it ran Friday at 4:30. Yeah. Like when I'm still at work. Like, what are we doing here, guys?
Yeah, that was frustrating. Time. But Grant Enfinger getting the win.
Pig owner Grant Enfinger.
Yeah.
Big Suey.
My kind of guy.
I was happy for him. Locked himself into the championship 4 with that. So hopefully he can claim what could have been his maybe last year if there wasn't some.
It should have been.
Yeah, if there wasn't some, I don't even know what to call it. Just
tomfoolery and
thank you, tomfoolery. I'm like, I want to use the proper word for this. So yeah, we'll see how all that kind of plays out for Grant Enfinger, but hopefully he has a really good shot with practically a new team this year. Exciting to see them doing really well. So congrats to Grant, and of course congrats to Ricky for winning the race at Talladega this weekend too. So pretty cool. Let's move on to some NASCAR news. And if you guys have any topics you want us to talk about that we maybe aren't going to talk about in the news as we go along, let us know in the comments below. But here we go. Again, looking at my right slide. Yes. Motorsports news. Here we go. First off, a congratulations to Chase Briscoe and his wife on the birth of their twins. That's super exciting.
Babies.
So very excited for them. So congrats. We love that. Yeah. And then of course, Bubba Wallace, we mentioned this last week, but him and his wife, they had their first child, which is really exciting too. So exciting times, life into the world. So congrats to them. I guess speaking of Bubba Wallace, let's talk about 2311 and Farmer Motorsports. And I guess going from a positive to a negative. I'm not good at segues, you guys, but the lawsuit.
This is a
negative. Well,
this isn't a negative, man.
Negative or a positive, depending on the information and how you view it. But 2311 Racing and Front Row Motorsports did file a motion for the preliminary injunction. I can speak, which what they're asking for with this is to compete as a charter team in 2025 as the lawsuit continues. according to reports from Bob Pockrass, Jeff Gluck, and what's been out there, is NASCAR is not wanting to grant them that preliminary injunction.
Shocked Pikachu emote here.
Yeah, so nobody's shocked. And their argument is you do not need a charter to compete. I don't see how, granting you a charter would really change anything, whatever. So I get that. But essentially what's going to happen is they're going to go to court with this, bring it before a judge, and then they'll make a decision. So that's like part one of this all, is just getting that baseline down for how 2025 is going to start for these teams. And then, of course, we'll go into the big old lawsuit if it all makes it there. So just keep that in mind. Again, I would highly suggest going to Bob Pockrass's social media page. He has a lot of good resources. There's letters that he posted on there that 2311 Racing and NASCAR sent back and forth to one another regarding the good faith negotiations, however you look at that, and all this other stuff. So
lots of stuff going on.
There's lots of stuff going on with that. Ben, I know you weren't here to share your opinions on the lawsuit. I don't know if you wanted to have the floor to talk about some things with it, or...
Sure. Yeah, I can. I am team 23XI and Front Row Motorsports all the way. You're talking to someone whose personal beliefs don't believe in big business and think big business should burn in hell, in many ways. I don't know if that's a dollar in the swear jar or not either.
That's okay. I will allow that.
I'm all for it. I love this. I love the fact that they went out and got probably the best lawyer that they could humanly get for this case as well. I love the fact that they're not afraid to stare at them in the face and call their bluff. And I'm all for that. And this is something like, I feel like, and this is my personal opinion, this is something all fans should be in favor for on the Denny Hamlin side, because he wants to make the sport better. Let him make the sport better.
Yeah.
It's this whole thing with unions too, and how people don't like unions, but unions are the point of a union is to make things better for the workers. Let him do this. Let him have his union. Let him have his lawsuit and make this better. And to all the people who didn't signed it, I get why. You're running multi-million-dollar businesses. You have people at the end of the day that need to feed their families. I get that, and I empathize with that.
Yeah.
But the term scabs exists for a reason, and you're one of them at the end of the day. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm all for in favor of 23XI. Taylor doesn't like my comments, so I think I'm officially banned from the ATYL group.
No, I like your comments. You're braver than I am.
This is because I have no affiliation with anything anymore, and I don't care. It's great. I'm all for them doing this and taking a stand. Because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do, no matter what it is. And it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. It seems like this case is moving fairly fast for a federal case. Normally, as someone who had to cover court at my old job, federal court cases take 2 or 3 years to even get into court, let alone be active. It'll be interesting to see if they drag it to court or if NASCAR tries to make a settlement outside the courtroom.
Yeah,
because they totally could. I mean, I could see it happening, but I think with how do I word this? Petty Denny Hamlin can be.
Yeah, that's fair.
And how good of a track record their lawyer has, who literally created NFL free agency, which is a thing. I didn't know that was real. Not free agency, but him creating it. I could see them taking this all the way. And you have Michael Jordan funding this, who endless pit of money.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
I was about to add to that is that if Michael Jordan wasn't a part of that whole thing, this would have been settled already.
Yeah.
This would have been settled as a total loss for the people that were suing. Mm-hmm. So I think this is definitely something to take a look at. I'm all for the underdog to see what happens. I'm not sure. I feel 50-50 on how this is going to go. I feel like it's going to be you're going to have to sign something to race. I don't know. I feel very weird and strange about it.
They don't have to sign anything to race. BJ McLeod is an open charter, and he can just show up to the track and put in an entry list and put in however much money it costs to get in and say, I'm here, boys. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
True. Then he doesn't get the TV money, though. That's the problem. You're losing money then.
There's arguments that NASCAR has that
Oh,
work
no.
in their favor. There's arguments that the teams make that work in their favor. Ultimately, NASCAR can say, hey, listen, you don't have to sign a deal. You can still be profitable or make some money, but just run as an open car. You just have to figure it out. But you do not need a charter to be successful in this sport or to at least run in this sport, is what NASCAR is going to end up having to argue here. For the teams, it's we need those charters to be successful, and noting that like Daytona is a crazy percentage of the purse out of the season alone, like to just compete in and whatever, like that's important for these teams too. So it's going to be interesting. I agree with you, Adam. I think this is kind of 50-50 on how it could go. I think the teams have a really good representation, or they have really good representation on their side,
Yes.
which will help them. So yeah, I don't know. We'll keep you updated on this, of course. It is an ever-growing issue. I know, Ben, you've been in the courtroom before with some of this stuff at your old job, and I will say I don't know a whole lot of legal stuff, so I'm learning as I go as well with all of this, but we'll still keep you updated and all that good stuff. But let's go to a positive piece of news, I guess, because like I don't know. Sometimes talking about the lawsuit, I get really heated. We all got kind of heated from that. We were very passionate on this. I would say I hope the teams get a lot out of this. And I mean, even hearing too Richard Childress talk about how he had no choice. He had to sign just for his employees and everything like that. Like they didn't feel like they had a choice with the threat of losing their charters. And I don't feel like that's fair. I don't.
No, it's not fair. And that's the part of it is like, it's not fair that I shouldn't feel threatened at my job because that's not how, if I almost said a bad word. If I mess up my job, I can get reprimanded and get a demerit, sure, but I shouldn't be threatened to like lose my paycheck at the end of the month unless I do something horrible enough to get fired for. Like, and arguably these teams are not doing anything to horribly get fired for at the end of the day.
No.
And I get why. I understand it. Again, like there are probably, I don't know, a couple hundred people at Hendrick and a couple hundred people at RCR and Gibbs and Penske that like, that's probably scary for the guy at the shop that sweeps the floor that's just trying to feed his family or like start his career. Like that's intimidating. But again, like you cross the picket line, man.
And one thing I will say that was, I don't want to say smart on NASCAR's part, because I don't want to be ignorant to the points that are in this charter agreement, which our eyes aren't really privy to. But I feel as if NASCAR has learned from these teams over the past few years with this current charter agreement on how these teams have made additional revenue, where they've gone to, where they've looked, especially with the media side of things and bringing a return on investment to their partners and stuff. Media for these teams and being able to manage that themselves has been huge, a huge piece of revenue. Then NASCAR goes in and talks about this new TV deal. They're wanting to control more of the IP rights of the teams. And that takes away a lot of these teams' independent streams of revenue that they are using to keep them afloat based off of the way that this Gen 7 car and this current charter agreement is, right? They're trying to keep themselves afloat. NASCAR, in my eyes, saw how successful these teams were with certain aspects of things. And they said, ooh, we can make some more money off of that. But let's take something away from the team so we can do that. Is how I have viewed a lot of this. Is that right? I don't really know. That's just how my interpretation of a lot of this is. NASCAR is wanting to take things away from the teams that they have been successful with their revenue streams. And I just don't think that's fair. You're making it harder for the teams to be successful and keep themselves in business. So
yeah, it's a strange balance act that they have to play, honestly. It's very, very intriguing, very interesting.
Yeah,
it'll be something fun to follow during the off season.
Yeah, if we're all like, oh, I'm gonna miss NASCAR so much. I mean, we're not gonna have like racing, like NASCAR races per se, but we will have some NASCAR industry news for sure. So lots of off-season content. Also, of course, lots of time to pay attention to your local short tracks and all these fun races and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. But let's move on. Cool piece of news from the world of Charlotte Motor Speedway. MSMI and Rick Hendrick announced a 10/10ths Motor Club, which is right outside of turns 1 and 2 at Charlotte Motor Speedway, which is a 100-acre complex that will include a multi-purpose road course featuring 3 different configurations, a 20,000 square foot clubhouse where you can host like events and stuff like that. It's like a capacity of like 1,500 people, I think. A members garage where you can have, like, I think there's like a cigar lounge, a bar, stuff like that in there. And then an off-road trail for driving experiences. So it's like an all-encompassing, like just experience thing which I thought was kind of interesting. I know, like, I feel like they've been clearing that area for a bit. And Adam, I remember you mentioned that this has been rumored for a bit, but like now it's confirmed.
I thought maybe they confirmed it as the Ben Branska Memorial half mile run.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
To my car after the Truck and Arca race.
Never forget, man.
Oh,
I was so pissed
You
off
were
that night.
I felt
Inspired.
so bad for you.
I just like
After
all
that
the
race
way.
was a nightmare.
It wasn't like it was like 3/4 of the track because the tunnel across is in turn 3 entry.
Yeah.
And I got off the bus there and I was like, well, shit. I just started walking.
Yeah. PSA, if you're going to the race anytime soon or this weekend or whatever, like make sure that your drivers are sober. PSA.
Or get a DD. Always
Or-
be smart.
Always
Always
have a
because-
DD, yes.
Otherwise, you might be
Careful.
waiting at the track for hours for everyone to sober.
Yeah,
You got friends in high places.
Yeah. We made it work though. We made it work.
Good
But yeah,
time.
so something cool for from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Something else to make NASCAR's, I guess, home for racing with Charlotte Motor Speedway and all the shops around Charlotte. Just have a bit more personality to it. Make it a little bit more fun. Add something extra there. So I thought that was pretty cool. Announced today.
Yeah.
So any other pieces? Oh, piece of NASCAR news. I know I'm bouncing from positive to negative, so I hate to do this, but also I did want to recognize Beer Motorsports. One of their spotters, or Ron Lewis, passed away. They posted about this today, so I just wanted to recognize that and just say, you know, we're thinking about the whole Beer Motorsports team, the family of Ron. It's just difficult times, so our thoughts and our prayers go out to them for sure. It's never easy losing a team member at all, let alone family, friends. So our thoughts go out to him for sure. So yeah.
What are we thinking about the possible remote broadcast for CW? Me too.
You could see this kind of coming with the building that they were
Have
building.
we not learned? Have we not learned? Like, oh, like I watch the truck in the ARCA broadcast as much as I can.
Or as much as you can tolerate.
As much as I can tolerate. Trust me, I love ARCA and I love trucks, but the broadcast sometimes I just turn on PRN, MRN, whatever's on there, and that's how I get the broadcast, because there is so much you miss from not being at the tracks to analyze things as they're happening. You are relying on the cameras, which with Fox's camera work, respectfully, it doesn't give you the full picture. There's a lot of weird camera angles, a lot of weird cuts, and a lot of stuff is missed. When you're at the track as well, when the broadcasters are at the track, you're able to get stories before, like talking to the drivers in the garage. I know you can do that before the race happens, but there's a lot that happens at the track that doesn't happen on a Wednesday or a Tuesday or a Monday, right? So you're missing critical analysis, critical time with these drivers, these crew chiefs, the spotters, etc. And you're missing seeing things as they're happening in front of your eyes. Then you rely on the cameras to get a different angle so you can have maybe a different perspective on what happened on track. But long story long, not a fan. I think that's a horrible decision if that happens. I digress.
I don't disagree. Oh, go ahead, Adam.
No. You go ahead, Ben. Go ahead.
Disagree.
I don't disagree.
Oh, don't.
However, devil's advocate though.
Yes, please.
I have watched what CW has done with college football and college basketball since they've picked up a lot more sports stuff over the past year leading into this. I have a slight bit more twinge of faith, I guess you could say, than I do with Fox.
Fair.
It's not high, but it is there. At the end of the day, I don't like John says, you need announcers at the track, and I feel like that's a key integral thing. I get why we do remote broadcasting. I get why it saves money. I understand it was a product of the global pandemic, but also we are out of a global pandemic, or at least last time I checked, which was 20 seconds ago. I do have some faith in CW though, but like, if we get to the point where halfway through the Xfinity Series season, we're missing crashes regularly and just we're bumbling around on the broadcast, that's when I will have issue with this.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to give it a shot, especially with a different group. I don't know why the color temperature on my camera keeps changing either.
That's okay. It's okay.
But it's just something that I would like to see them do first before I say anything. So
yeah. I mean,
I said a lot of words there. It didn't make any sense. I'm fully.
Honestly, I respect that take though, because I'm typically a person that likes to say, you know what? I'm not going to give my opinion until we see it. And I dove straight into, I hate this, not even thinking about, let's just wait and see. But I don't know. I have faith in it slightly, but knowing how it's worked in racing for how many years we've done this, makes me nervous, but I'm willing to be optimistic in some regard. Adam.
So I'm on the fence as well. I'm more of a 50-50 because I can see this as a negative, but also as a positive for some circumstances.
Yes.
Something I was reading, I don't remember the exact quote or the exact wording of the tweet, but Tommy Joe Martin's made a good point about how this would benefit like going to road courses, especially when we go out west later on in the season. That would definitely help with travel cost, obviously, because going to Portland for a one-off, that is a nightmare to your budget. Fantastic racetrack, love it. It's one of my favorites.
Needs to be on there. Like
yes,
100%. It's so good.
But oh my god, it is expensive to get out there, and when you're out there, it's expensive when you're there.
Yeah,
but circumstances like that would be beneficial. And as Ben has reported, CW they're doing really good.
They know ball. CW
they can ball. They can ball.
CW knows ball. I'll give them credit. They know ball. Yes, I can respect anyone knows ball.
I didn't have much faith when they came on board, and when I heard the announcement, when it was last year when they said they were going to be coming aboard for 2025. But hey, let's giddy up.
They got it so far. Okay, I'll give them credit. They know ball.
And I appreciate too the CW starting coverage now to perfect that transition at the start of 2025. Like I think that's a really good move. It's confusing, but
I'm anxious to see who the official CW people are going to be.
I'm so scared.
Ooh, I may redact my statement on they know ball. I may have to, because they hired Tom Brenneman. And those of you who know Tom Brenneman, yeah, I forgot about that part. As Castellanos drives this one deep in the left center field to make this a 4-0 ball game. I may redact that statement, but like from what I have seen, I will give them benefit of the doubt nonetheless.
Yeah,
and obviously he won't be doing NASCAR broadcasts. So
correct.
Yep. Yeah, I'm anxious about getting all these booths. That's going to be a good storyline. They got to be announcing them soon.
Hopefully,
especially for CW, because I mean they've got Daytona's coming. Like that's in February. Like they have to do this soon.
Yeah. Yep. Goodness. Again, like, and if they don't announce this soon, then I mean, I guess during the off season, lots of off season content to make. So, also, I can't believe I didn't mention this or talk about this. Or Ben, how do you talk about this? So, first off, the Xfinity Series race was this weekend. I don't understand how I forgot to mention that, but congrats to Sammy Smith on winning that one. Like surviving Talladega is one thing. Winning it is awesome. So, congrats. And then the ARCA Championship. Ben, do you want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, Andres Perez won it this weekend. The first foreign-born driver to win an ARCA Menard Series title. Mexico City, Mexico native. Big week for Rev Racing. Almost said Rick Ware because the R's. Too many R's. Rev Racing. LeVar Scott locked up Rookie of the Year and is the first Black American to do that, which is awesome in their own right. So really cool to see Drive for Diversity programs continuing on and have that continue on and work out as well as it has. It was a solid race. Joe Gibbs locked up the owner's title, which always tends to be a big deal for ARCA because that's where a lot of the money is in the title. So really good for that. It was just a solid race overall. Very Perez also made history for the first time since 1980 that a driver has won a championship in ARCA but has not won a race in that season. So Andres is a very good kid. I met him in Charlotte. I interviewed him after he won pole for the ARCA race there this past year. Very good kid, very awesome. Him and LeVar both are two guys I definitely want to keep an eye on as we move through the next few years. Like LeVar is a wheel man, and Andres has shown that he's got the speed in him too. And it sounds like he possibly might be moving up next year. Nothing is confirmed or set in stone yet, but kind of looks like that 2 seat may be open for him if with Sanchez hopping up to Xfinity. Look like that feels like an obvious landing spot. So we'll see. But awesome for him. Good kid. Yeah.
Yeah, they're both super talented. Excited to see what they do, and I mean, I think that's a great landing spot for him in the two, if that's kind of how their program's going to progress. So, looking forward to maybe seeing him make the jump next year. I don't know, but
Yeah, he could.
yeah, yes, I don't.
Breaking news.
Oh no,
It has been reported that on this day in 1974, our Lord and Savior Dale Earnhardt Jr. was born 50 years ago.
Crack a
I
Budweiser
cannot
if you got a
believe what I
Budweiser.
just said. Is he really 50?
Crack
Oh
a
my
Bud. Did you
God.
just realize it was his birthday?
He's 50?
I didn't realize
Yeah.
he was 50. I forgot about that. Holy
He's 50.
crap! Happy
Guys,
birthday to Dale.
I'm over halfway to 50.
I still can't believe he's 50.
I'm almost halfway to 50, and it scares me.
And he has good taste
Every
in
day.
music.
Guys,
Joe Jr. likes the Wonder Years. Go listen to the Wonder Years, everyone.
I'm
Shit's
19
good.
years away from 50.
Oh
happens.
man.
Ooh.
Let the
All
party
right, enough
begin.
with that. But yes, Dale Jr., happy birthday, 50,
birthday,
big
Dale.
50. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy to believe.
Yeah.
There's some people like you always think of as just young, and then you look at them and you're like, oh my god, they're 50. That's crazy. And then you put it into perspective, like the years have passed, and like Dale is one of them for me. Like that's kind
Yeah.
of wild to think about. So, anyhow,
Yeah.
let's move on to preview the
Oh,
ROVAL.
one more. Oh, sorry. I just saw
Go for it.
Adam's note there in chat. Arco East is going to Rockingham. They're joining for a triple header.
Yes.
And it's Easter weekend that's happening, Rockingham, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're joining for Easter weekend as well. It'll be an East race. It'll be a standalone race. That is all we know of the East and West schedule at this time. But that'll be cool. Like, I feel like that's probably a good demo run for them to decide if they want to throw that on the schedule for 2026, whatever year that is.
Yeah.
Time has no meaning. This is all simulation. So yeah, cool for a triple header. For those of you who are going for the double header, now you got 3 races to go see. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Mr. Lucas, we didn't mean to disrespect.
What did I
Sorry.
disrespect?
Sorry, Dad.
Oh, I thought you were saying Mr. Lucas to Adam and not hello,
No.
proper Mr. Lucas.
This
Mr.
is
Lucas,
this is to the real Mr. Lucas.
But yeah, no, going back to Ben, your point, excited for Arc East to join Rockingham. So I think I'm gonna have to work that weekend for that race. So I'm
I
excited
may
to at
go as a
least,
fan. So if you want to give me a beer, give me a beer.
yeah. Every time you
What?
see Ben at the racetrack, give him a beer.
Buddy
Beer up,
does
Ben.
every time, and it makes me so happy.
We love Buddy. We're excited to hopefully collaborate with him more soon. But
Buddy will hunt me down and find
Yes.
me, and I'm like, hey man, I'm not against it.
I honestly want to have him on the show at some point because he's gone to, I feel like, not every race this season, but it feels like every race this season for NASCAR, the Cup
I
Series.
keep checking his like schedule because he posted like his like
Yeah.
2024 tour thing, and it's I think 40 races.
Wow.
He's going to more next year. I talked to him. I
Which
forget
like
what
he
said,
lives in
but-
that area. He's able
Yeah.
to do that, which is
Yeah.
awesome. But like, yeah, kids got it, and I want to be him when I grow up.
Shout out to Buddy. If you guys don't, I literally just need to put his like username and stuff in the chat here. Just like seriously follow him.
Good
Insane.
kid, nice guy, tries hard.
Did
Loves
we
the
meet
game.
him at the truck race?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get to be there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I did. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was
That's
trying to
cool,
remember.
man.
All right, now I know who he is. Yeah, Buddy's a
I
good
love
dude.
that kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Him
We
and
love
Seth, good kids.
Love Seth. Yeah, I did a little before Darlington. I did like fan interviews and stuff, and I found them in the fan zone, and I was like, I'm gonna talk to them, and like it was such a fun time. It was a good time. So, anyhow, let's preview the ROVAL. Let's get to that point in the show.
ROVAL.
Let's talk about some of the big changes
ROVAL.
here. Graphic courtesy of Toby Christie, TobyChristie.com and Racing
Can't really see
America.
changes.
Let me
There we
do
I
this.
was
There
about
we
to say,
go.
Can we really see changes?
Yeah, I was like, I need to change that. So there's not a whole lot of big changes here until you get to like turns 5, 6, and 7. Obviously, there is a huge change with turns 5 and 6 being a lot of a longer, I guess, straightaway, if you will. Not really, but kind of. And there's an elevation change there too, which is a big deal. And then, of course, the dreaded turn 7 is basically like a 180-degree turn, which is insane.
Martinsville and Sonoma had a baby, and it ended up in Charlotte.
It was created, and here we are. I mean, this is really the big change visually, just on a map. This is what you have. I I think, I mean, we've already kind of spoken about turn 7 and how chaotic it is, but any more thoughts regarding this?
15, 16, and 17 is going to be like a legit triangle. The
Yeah.
Angle of attack, you're going to have to swing way out this year.
Yeah.
You're going to literally be driving toward the stands instead of going like on an angle. Like you'll be going head on.
Yeah.
The radius is so tight now. So that'll slow down speed tremendously trying to get to the start finish line. But other than that, yeah, turn 7 obviously is the big change. Yeah, ROVAL baby. ROVAL baby, ROVAL baby, ROVAL baby.
I hate that you made that reference. That actually really bothers me on a deeper level. I'm gonna say it. I don't think turn 7 is gonna be that goofy.
Okay.
I think there'll be one real
wrong.
big goofy moment that happens where everyone does the stupid, for sure. Like
Someone
it's
will
going
get
to happen because it's the reverse Tom's heartburn turn.
Honestly, it is. Facts.
Like, yeah, I don't think it'll be as goofy. I could see the last chicane going to the start finish line getting kind of goofy, more so than anything.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking for sure.
Yeah,
someone's gonna hit that turtle and just nail someone out into the turf.
Someone's gonna do a kickflip tonight, and I can feel it.
I mean, we've seen
Feel it in the air, boys.
We've seen dramatic ends to the ROVAL before. And with how this
Don't remind me.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. What one person's loss is another's gain.
Preston, if you're here, it's okay.
Oh, Jimmy, you were so close.
Jimmy, I literally was like, why? If I understand he wanted I'm gonna go back to this. I understand he wanted the win. I get it. But literally he could have moved on to the next round of the playoffs if he wanted to just done that.
Jimmy Johnson's been ruining my life since I was a NASCAR fan.
God.
I'm gonna say it.
That's okay. You know what? I respect the honesty.
It's okay, Ben. Just watch Legacy Motor Club for this season.
That's part of the ruining.
Yeah.
You can see his downfall.
Which, by the way, for Eric Jones, this is his first top 10 of the season since Daytona from Talladega, which is
that's hard.
Yeah.
But hey, your owner can go overseas and drive British sports cars for fun. Yeah, but not be at the teams. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
Ouch.
Well, then, with that said,
I'm not wrong. He was doing something else a weekend of a race, and the team was running 35th and 32nd. I don't know what to tell you.
I actually
correlation does not equal causation here, guys.
And Jimmy
Let's talk about the mail.
Run at Kansas, right? He did.
Yeah,
Jimmy
did run.
We all forgot about that, and then he was involved in that, like the wreck in the first few laps, and I'm just disappointed, man.
I agree with you, John. Also, I hope to meet you there at Rockingham if I'm able to make it out.
10-4.
So yeah, the ROVAL.
I'm excited about it. It should lead to exciting finishes, especially with these being cutoff races. There is a higher intensity to all the races this weekend, Xfinity and Cup. So excited for all.
I apologize for coughing in the mic too, like a disgusting human.
Oh my God, you're good. You're good. You're fine. Deep breaths. Cough it out. You're fine. Okay. Here we go. Never mind. All right, let's go to our
Dom's top 10, maybe. I don't know. I don't
falling off the rails, but it's okay. So of course, Dom is not here on this show.
No meowing.
Hi, Dom, if you're watching. So I'm gonna present the stats to you. I have all of his notes right next to me on the screen. So please enjoy this presentation of our projected top 10 presented by Dom Joseph. Now, I personally feel this list is more accurate than lists that we've had the past few weeks. I know where it's a cumulative total of all the stats we've had at a certain track and a certain race. And sometimes you're going to see some missteps here. I think this one's pretty accurate, and I like these stats right here. So let's go through them together. Chase Elliott is at the top of the list. This should be no surprise to anybody. I know we have more of an oversaturation of road course kings or road course pros in the Cup Series now. A lot of people have figured it out with the Gen 7 car. Chase Elliott still trying to find that with the Gen 7 car just a little bit, needing to get multiple wins at road courses with this car. But he has 2 wins at the ROVAL, 2019, 2020, 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, 109 laps led. He has 657 laps completed. And what's really good for Chase Elliott, he has 0 DNFs here. an 8.3 average finish, and an 8.3 average start, 8.2 average finish. So all across the board, his stats just line up perfectly for this race. Now we know Chase Elliott hasn't had the, I want to say, like, star-studded season that maybe we could have seen from him, like 2021, 2020, etc. But maybe here's a chance for them to turn it around. I think Hendrick Motorsports could have decent equipment, and we'll get to the Hendrick Motorsports drivers as we get down the list. Joey Logano in that second position on the list. Also, by the way, the pink window nuts, can we talk about this for a second? Like, they look so fun. And then Ross Chastain's paint scheme this weekend, the Busch beer with, it's all
what
blue.
is it? I haven't seen it.
It's okay. I need to pull
I'll
this up
look
on the screen. I gotta do this because it looks so good with the pink window net.
Oh, I'm sure. I love that.
It reminds me of the what was the scheme that he had last year? It was the blue. Please
Worldwide
remind me of the
Express,
font. Yes, thank
wasn't
you.
it?
Let me share this real quick. Let me share my screen.
Metallic with the pink numbering was really hot.
It was beautiful. Yeah. Hold on. Look at this. That's
That's
gorgeous.
contrast nice.
I love this.
Like
I
a
want him
neon,
to win in this scheme so I can get this for, like, finally. I don't buy diecast anymore unless it's a race one diecast or unless it's like a specialty one. Hence, I'm going to be getting the Larson Kellogg's car this weekend. So I have to.
Stay tuned, folks.
Stay tuned, folks. Content coming soon. Let's get back to the presentation, though.
You know what I would do with that car, though, with the number?
What?
The metallic outline that they always use on the Trackhouse cars, I'd make it pink. That would be cool.
Yeah. Honestly, that'd be a good add to that. I agree with you. Adam, you should design the cars.
I'm available. Anybody listening?
All right. So Joey Logano in second. He has one pole award from this race in 2022, 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, 35 laps led, an average start of 6.2, which is very good. Average finish of 8.7. So knowing that he is below the cutoff line, he's the first one below the cutoff line, -13. Those are some good stats to kind of think about going into this race. You don't want to be below the cutoff line going into a cutoff race, but at least there's some positivity there for the 22 team. Speaking of Penske, Ryan Blaney. The discount tire scheme is back on the 12, and we love to see it. Looking at the body armor hat that Adam has on. It's a beautiful hat.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben.
We love you, Ben. One win for Ryan Blaney in the very first race at the ROVAL. Again, sorry, Ben, to bring that up to you, but Ryan Blaney won that one. 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, 46 laps completed. 46 laps led, and he's completed every lap. So good stats for Ryan Blaney. Tyler Reddick, he has one.
That's an interesting stat that he's able to complete every lap at the ROVAL.
That is.
Which will benefit him because he's had a really rough, I feel like, round of 12. So
it's been ugly.
He's got to complete every lap here. So it is an interesting stat. Tyler Reddick has a pole award for this race in 2023. 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 48 laps led, and he has an average finish of 7th. Again, Tyler Reddick has been off since Darlington. The 2311 as a whole has been very off. And we saw that, I think, on full display after they just were irrelevant at Kansas. It was quite shocking. So hopefully this is a good place for him to come back.
Do you think Darlington literally cramped his style?
I think it might have. Just a little bit. That and maybe something outside of, racing.
Well, there's outside forces. Yeah.
Excuse me. So yeah, all good. Bless you. So there's that. Let's go back to a Hendrick Motorsports driver, William Byron. 5th on our list here. 1 pole award 2019, 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 80 laps led. The second most laps led of the drivers, and 1 DNF at this race. But again, I think William Byron's proven to be a really good road course racer, especially in the Gen 7 car. So one to look out for. And speaking of a good road course racer, I think we don't often think about Alex Bowman because he's really good at the ROVAL. And I think it's Watkins Glen Coda is the other road course track that he's pretty good at. But for this track, he has never finished outside the top 10 every time he's been able to race at the ROVAL. He's consistent here. He has a 7.6 average start and a 6.4 average finishing position. His finishes are 4th, 2nd, 8th, 10th, and 8th. So past few times we've been here, or I guess he's finished in the top 5 and then top 10. So he's fine. I was going to make a point, but I'm going to not make the point because it didn't make sense. But Alex Bowman, somebody to look out for, especially considering his consistency these playoffs. maybe could be a potential winner this weekend. I don't know. We'll see. Christopher Bell, though, speaking of potential winners in my championship pick, for those of you who missed our bracket challenge thing that we did to start the playoffs, one win here in 2022, one top 5, one top 10, and 17 laps led. We're going to move on to Kyle Larson. One win in 2021, one top 5. He has, I believe, he said Dom has on here the most laps led, one in the most laps led. Do we want to talk about Kyle Larson for this weekend? Anyone want to make any points about Kyle Larson, road course, the round of 12 he's had?
I'll say this: Hendrick speed at road courses this season has been there. So yeah, I think definitely, I think all the Hendrick guys should be ones to watch.
Yeah, for sure. And I think too, Ravaging Wolverine. Yeah, Bowman he's not bad at road courses at all. He's pretty consistent. He has road courses that favors him for sure. And yes, he has certain strengths. It is strange to see Larson as the 4th Hendrick driver here on the list, which I did find interesting too, that he's 4th on that list. But I guess other drivers, at least for the ROVAL, have been a little more consistent than Larson has. So there's that. Martin Truex Jr. Let's talk about him. 2 top 10s. 6 laps led. He's completed every single lap, which is a positive there. Another surprising stat, honestly, with Truex at the ROVAL, because I just feel like he's had bad luck. But to round out the top 10,
I just wish God would choose another soldier already, because I'm getting tired of this man.
I know. I want him to end this
over.
year strong, but like, Ben, do you see him getting a win before the season's over?
No.
Oh.
Okay. Let me query you this. Do you think he gets that Daytona 500 win next year?
If he does, I'll go on a 7-day drinking bender and you'll never hear from me again.
Okay. So
Deal.
I don't know. Okay. All right.
Deal.
I will be so happy. so happy.
The Martin Truex Jr. fans out there need positivity. Y'all need positivity.
We need a break.
You need a break.
the break.
I almost said a bad word. I need an appreciation day or I'm out, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
The break's coming after November 10th.
God. Let's hope that this race is not tough for Martin and he can just finish up the season strong, because it's been painful to watch. But last but not least in this top 10, Denny Hamlin. He has 2 poles for this race, 2020 and 2021. 1 DNF, 1 top 5, and 25 laps led. The other playoff drivers that are outside the top 10, Daniel Suarez in 19th, Austin Cindric in 22nd, and Chase Briscoe in 24th. So the drivers that are already below the cutoff line that were like probably won't make it past the next round, they're not that great at this track. But I will say with Trackhouse, their road course program has picked up. So I think that's at least positive there. And Austin Cindric has been a little bit more consistent. Again, if it wasn't for him being involved in the big one, I think he would have finished pretty good points-wise to end Talladega. But again, it's a lot of luck. But I will say kudos to those 3 drivers at least for showing up really good in the first round of the playoffs. And just bad luck in the round of 12.
Yep.
Yeah. Some people asked about Allmendinger and SVG.
Yes. So let me see if Dom has stats for them.
Dinger, I saw, has a freak stat, but because he's not full time, he's not included in our top thing. I think he's either 1 or 2 somewhere there.
Yeah, because
I saw someone asked about them specifically. So
yeah, no, I appreciate that. With these stats, we only pull from the full-time drivers. Just a lot of it is just consistency there too. But
yeah.
I could see a potential for an upset win. We saw it last year with AJ Allmendinger. SVG obviously going to be in the field this weekend, and he's been pretty darn close to winning the road course races we've had. Hence, you look back at Watkins Glen with Chris Buescher, that battle there, and it just took one mistake on SVG's part, and he lost the race. So, an upset isn't out of the question this weekend. And I think looking at those 2 drivers and their impressive stats that they have at this track in particular, yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility. And they have nothing to lose. They're just racing to win. They're not racing for points or anything like that, which makes them a bigger threat, I think, to the rest of the field. Because the playoff drivers, they have focus on certain strategy. They have to, obviously, a lot of them are looking to just win. Mm-hmm. But also with how the points are, how the race goes along, you're going to be changing your strategy a little bit. So all AJ and Shane have to do is just go out and win, and that makes them a huge threat.
Can I throw some more bones into the pot?
Please do.
Because we've seen a trend though with the playoffs this year where non-playoff drivers are winning.
Hmm.
You better put Allmendinger and SVG in your top fives
Yeah.
for picks.
If
Anybody?
you play NASCAR fantasy on the app, use them in your lineup.
Yep.
Do it. Like there's no risk in that. As long as they're staying out of trouble, they're gonna finish this race really well.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I 100% agree with that.
Or if the dang power steering doesn't go out in the number 13 again.
Oh dear God, yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be brutal this weekend if that happens. Ugh. Anything else to mention about the ROVAL guys?
I apologize. Did someone someone's asked about Chris Buescher? Did you mention his stats, or do you have them?
Let me see if I have the stats for Chris that Dom provided. If not, Ben, could you pull up some stats for Chris while I look?
Oh,
quickly?
bother.
Or I can. We're good.
No, I'm on Racing Reference already. I was looking up.
I love that.
Fun.
Yeah, I don't see stats for Chris Buescher that Dom sent my way.
Chris Buescher, I thought you said Bill Elliott.
Uh-huh.
Oops.
Whoops.
Chris Buescher. How do I do this? I forgot.
I can do it. These are important to know because he's been so good at road courses.
Oh no, I found I biffed it. Get the data. Charlotte ROVAL. I can't read. Charlotte Road Course. 6 races, 0 wins, 1 top 5, 3 top 10s, 0 poles, 657 laps. It's not all laps. I don't think, I could be wrong. He's led 1 lap there.
Mhm.
He's earned 0.0, an average start of 16.7, an average finish of 11.8.
Okay.
He has
good.
ran 1,497.9 miles.
My goodness. Yeah,
so he's right outside the top 10 then. Okay.
Yes. And I will say the past 2 races, or at least looking at the races with the Gen 7 car here, 2022, it was a 6th place finish. 2023, it was a 7th place finish. And he started back in 21st and 20th for those races. So he was able to move his way through the field, strategy-wise, speed-wise. They've had it. In 2021, he finished 3rd in that race, starting 16th. So from those past 3 races, he has a history of being able to move through the field. He's really good at that. The races beforehand, it's outside the top 15, which I'm not even going to focus on. But since with RFK the past 2 years with the rebrand and Brad and all that kind of stuff, yeah, he's done really well. So somebody to look out for sure. Oh my God, I love this. Call data from Star Trek. I love the next gen of Star Trek.
I do too.
It's so good.
Team
So good.
TNG.
Yes.
Even though I just did the Vulcan salute, whatever.
It's okay. You know what? It's okay. We got it. I like all Star Trek, so that's fine.
Nanu.
Yes, Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy. There we go.
I love that show. Well, okay.
My dad.
During the off season, we're gonna have to have random chat streams because I know there's gonna be some lull in motorsports content and stuff. Just some time to just chill. I'll hang out. Maybe we had a show. I think this was this with you, Ben, where we just reminisced about old like Nickelodeon cartoons. Was that you?
I was in the chat for that, but I was not in that one.
I think
that's the first
Rob
time I ever was part of a chat. Yeah, that was Rob.
Yeah. Okay, we'll have to do that again because I think that'll be fun. But everyone, that concludes our recap of Talladega, our NASCAR news, and our preview of the ROVAL. Should be fun this weekend. Adam and I will be at the track on Saturday.
Say hi, everybody.
Say
on
hi.
Saturday.
And then, so make sure to say hi. Sunday, I will be in the infield. I'll be getting content for Racing America. So if you're in the infield and stuff, say hi. I'm telling myself this time I won't make it to the tweet up. I'm going to try my best. I've said I'm going to do it every other time, and I have not. So this time, actually, being in the state, I should make it. So fingers crossed. But say hi. Of course, say hi. But to keep up with all the NASCAR news, go to TobyChristie.com for the latest updates, news, etc. TobyChristie.com is where you can find all of that. And then, of course, for more about us, who we are, what we do, all of our creative content, everything in between, go to Above the Yellow Line ATYLcrew.com. You also have more about the ATYL crew on there as well, but we have so much on our website. Also, exclusive merchandise for the month of October. It is Dysautonomia Awareness Month. Dysautonomia is an illness that impacts me and several others around the world. It is not a rare disorder. It's just a disorder that doesn't have a lot of information around it. So let's raise awareness for it this month. We have exclusive merchandise where all the proceeds that we get from that will go to Dysautonomia International, the leading organization in dysautonomia research. So make sure you go to our website, go to the shop, and go to our limited time merchandise, and you will see it there. I'm excited to wear my hat when it comes in, hopefully this week. So I'll be wearing it around the track, or hopefully just next week on the stream. Enough about that, though. Follow us on social media. All of our handles are on the screen and also in that cute little graphic on the side there. For Dom, spiders are our friends. Thank you, Adam, for the tribute there in the note. Beautiful sticker designed by Rob Branding himself on Ben's water bottle to pay tribute to those that are not here tonight. But hopefully we'll have the full crew here again very soon. But thank you all so much for being in the comment section tonight, interacting with us, being part of the show. We really do appreciate you all. And of course, make sure to share our channels, like the video, everything like that. All that helps support us. But thank you all so much. I will be done rambling. Have a great race weekend, and I will see